in the memory of Yona's grandfather, Reb Gedalia Ben Yaakov HaKohen. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, his neshama will have an aliyah, and the family in the Chamos. So we'll say, let's begin. So we spoke out yesterday the Mishnah, which now introduced us to the concept of the Arei Miklat, the cities of refuge. So we've always been speaking this entire time regarding the person who kills B'shogeg. Now we're speaking about the framework, the citywide or multiple citywide framework, ultimately to secure that individual. So, okay, I still owe you the Rambam on Sone, which Amir Hashem, if we have time, we're going to come back to today. A lot to do. So, says the Gemara, we're picking up on, so today's daf is Yud 10. We're picking up Testament days 9b, and we're picking up by the Gemara, 7 lines up from the bottom. Tan Rabbanan. Shalosh Arim Hivdil Moshe Be'ever HaYarden, who connected Hivdil Yoshua Be'eretz Canaan. Moshe Rabbeinu established 3 cities in the Transjordanian lands, Ever HaYarden, and Yoshua set up 3 cities in Eretz Canaan. Umechuvanos hayu kamin shtei shuros shebekera. And I will say the cities, the Transjordanian cities, and the Eretz Yisrael cities were opposite each other, were aligned in straight lines, just like a vineyard. Just like a vineyard. So the Gemara says, and the Gemara gives the examples. He says, Chevron Yehuda connected Betzer b'Midbar. Chevron in Yehuda, in Eretz Yisrael, corresponded to Betzer in the desert. Shechem Bahar Ephraim connected Ramos Gilad. So Ramos Gilad, excuse me, Shechem in the mountains of Har Ephraim were ultimately situated across from Ramot in the Gilad. Kedesh Bahar Naphtali connected Golan Babashan. And Kedesh in the mountains of Naphtali was opposite again Golan Babashan. Okay. Ushloshesh, Sumar says Vishilashka, and the more dashes what does it mean Vishilashka? Shiyu Mishulashin. We'll say that when arranging the Arei Miklat, you have to arrange it in the following way. Shehei midaram lechevron kimi chevron l'shchem, umichevron l'shchem kimi shchem lekedesh, umishchem lekedesh kimi kedesh l'tzafon. We'll say the idea is that the Arei Miklat must be equidistant from one another. They must be equidistant. Be'ever hayarden tlas, Be'eretz Yisrael tlas. So we'll say, interestingly enough, the Gemara says, how could it be that Ever Yarden gets 3 and yet Eretz Yisrael also gets 3? Obviously, Eretz Yisrael proper, I will say, is much larger than the Transjordanian areas. Yet, why would it be that all of Eretz Yisrael gets 3, although we're going to see Eretz Yisrael has much more than 3? But how could we say that Eretz Yisrael has 3 and the Transjordanian area has 3 also? Meaning, why would such a small area ultimately, again, only have 3? To which the Gemara says, excuse me, why would such a small area have so many, have 3? It was actually quite dramatic that in Gilad, in the Transjordanian area, there were a lot of rotzim, there were a lot of murders. So the Chsiv, because the pasuk says, Gilad Kiryas Poli Aven Akuva Midam. We'll say the pasuk in Hosea says that literally Gilad, the Transjordanian areas, Kiryas Poli Aven, literally is a gathering place for those who engage in sinful behavior. Akuva Midam, Akuva Midam. Rabbi Lazar, Okvin Laharog Nefashos. They would conspire ultimately to go ahead and kill people. So the Gemara says, so we'll say, first of all, just an interesting point over here. So the Maharsha raises this question. The Maharsha says, 1 second. So you're telling me that in Gilad, they had a lot of murderers, like a lot of evil people. And that's why you had more Arei Miklat. You had 3 Arei Miklat in the Gilad, ultimately again, whereas 3 in all of Eretz Yisrael. So we'll say, so what's the pshat? But again, remember, Arei Miklat are for who? For people who kill accidentally. So you're telling me there's a lot of intentional murders, ultimately, again, in Gilad. What does that do with Arei Miklat? And then Maharsha says something amazing. Maharsha says, we'll say, because where there is a lot of bloodshed, and we can relate to this societally, unfortunately, where there is a lot of bloodshed, there becomes a general desensitization to the value of an individual life. So therefore, again, Chazal automatically, Chazal understood that wherever you have a higher murder rate, you have higher accidental murder rate as well. It's just a general lack of sensitivity and a general lack of care and concern towards the value of human life. An incredible, incredible Gemara. So the Gemara goes weiter. So we'll say, why is it? If you look at the map of Eretz Yisrael and see the way that Arei Miklat are created, on the north and the south of the country, they're very far from one another. In the center, they're clustered. So what's the reason for that? Because it will say Shechem, which is in the center of the country, also has a lot of murderers. And because of that, again, they needed more Arei Miklat there, because the pasuk says over here, Ukechake ish gidudim, Chaver kohanim derech yiratzchu Shchema kizima asu. What does this mean? My chever kohanim. We'll say, why does it compare the people of Shechem to a group of kohanim? Amar Rabbi Elazar, shei mischabrim la'arog nefashos, ke kohanim halalu she mischabrim lachlok trumos u'beis hagranas. Because we'll say the people in Shechem are just like kohanim get together in the threshing floor to claim their trumos and maisros, or to claim their trumos, I should say. So to the people of Shechem would often gather together and conspire to engage in acts of bloodshed. V'sulaka, we'll also say, the Gemara makes it sound like over here that there are only 6 cities of refuge. 3 in the Transjordanian lands, 3 in Eretz Yisrael proper. But is that true? V'haksid, I will say the pasuk says, Va'aleihem titnu arboim ushtayim ir. Yet the Mosai again, the pasuk says that you shall literally. This is talking about the Mosai, the Arei Halaviyim. This is talking about the 42 cities that were given. Remember again, Shevet Levi has no nachal on Eretz Yisrael, has no portion. So where does Shevet Levi live? They were given 42 cities. So the Gemara also understands over here that the 42 cities, the Arei Leviim, were also Arei Miklat, were also cities of refuge. So we'll say, so there aren't 6 cities of refuge. There are 48 cities of refuge. Rabbi, so why is it that we just speak about 6 cities of refuge? Rabbi, halalu koltos bein ladas bein shlo ladas, halalu ladas koltos shlo ladas and koltos. This is actually quite fascinating. The 6 cities have the ability to provide security, safety and security for the accidental killer, whether he is aware that he's standing in an Ir Miklat or not. The 42 Arei Leviim have the ability to provide safety and security. We'll say only what? Only if the accidental killer knows that he's standing in an Ir Miklat. Take a look at Rashi for just a moment. Bein ladas, bein shelo ladas, bein shebarach sham ladas klita, bein shelo barach sham shelo ladas klita, shelo hayu yodeh shikol ladas. So we'll say this is actually quite amazing. The 6, we'll call it the 6 biblical Arei Miklat, provide refuge whether the accidental killer knows that he's standing in an Ir Miklat or not. The 42 Arei Leviim only afford security if what? If you're aware that you're standing in the Ir Miklat and that the Ir Miklat provides you with security. I'll just share with you something amazing. Just about it. There's so much to say on these Gemaras, but there's a beauty. I've said this actually before, but it's actually on this Gemara. The Ohev Yisrael, the Apterav. So first of all, you understand what it means to be called the Ohev Yisrael. I mean, it happened to be the name of the Sefer, but you understand what it means. The Apterav, the Ohev Yisrael, who was one of the ranking Hasidic Rebbes of his time, says something amazing. He says, why is it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose 6 as the number for the Arei Miklat? Just very quickly. He says, Hin Keneged Shisha Tevos Sheyesh Bepasuk Shema Yisrael. We'll say Shema Yisrael, ultimate Shema Yisrael, Shema Kinu Hashem Echad, has 6 words. The 6 words of Shema Yisrael correspond to the 6 Arei Miklat. Shem Koltin Bein Ladas, Bein Shelo Ladas. We'll say the Apterav goes on to say so beautifully that Shema Yisrael Shalom Hashem Echad is an Ir Miklat. What does that mean? That Rabbi said there is no greater refuge and there is no greater safety and security in life, ultimately, again, than a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When a person lives a life of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, a person has a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, closest to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a beautiful, passionate give and take with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then Rabbi said that's the Ir Miklat. That's the city of refuge for the Jew. And the Ohev Yisrael says the same way that the 6 Arei Miklat are koltos, bein ladas and shelo ladas. They offer security whether you're aware of it or not. They will say sometimes if you just put in the effort to create a beautiful relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that relationship is there even in times when I am not spiritually strong. That relationship is there even in times when I'm spiritually compromised. The 6 Arei Miklat always provide safety and security. The greatest Ir Miklat, says the Ohev Yisrael, is not a city. The greatest Ir Miklat for the Jew is his relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Magnificent idea. The Chevron Ir Miklat, so say the Gemara says, the pasuk says that Chevron was an Ir Miklat. V'aksiv, but is that true? V'aksiv, v'yitnu l'kalev es Chevron kasher diver Moshe. We'll say, but one second. Chevron was given to Kalev. Right? Remember again, Chevron was one of the gifts given to Kalev for the fact that he did not participate in the Chitim Meraglim. So how can you call it an Ir Miklat? To which the Gemara says, Amar Abaye, Parvada. Kalev was given, I must say, the Parvada. Parvada means Kalev wasn't given Chevron proper. Right? Chevron proper, as we're going to see, was in fact an Ir Miklat. Kalev was given the surrounding villages and fields around Chevron. Those became his. Which I will say, by the way, the notion, let me just read the pasuk, so we'll say, so Chevron itself was an Ir Miklat the surrounding fields and small villages around Hebron. That's what was given ultimately again to Kalev. But I will say the notion that Hebron, which is of course again the home of Rasa Machpelah, the burial place of Avos Animos, that it's an Ir Miklat, is an incredible yesod as well. That where your parents are, right, where the Avos Animos are buried, that's the city of refuge of Klal Yisrael, something quite beautiful. The Kedesh, Ir Miklat Havi. So what says, is that true that Kedesh was one of the Ir Miklat? But we learn Va'ari Miftsar, Hatsadim, Sar v'Chamas, Rekes v'Kineres, v'Kedesh v'Edrei v'Ein Chatzor. So what's the Vitanya? So what's so the pasuk over here is talking about Ari Miftsar means fortified cities. So among the list of fortified cities, Kadesh is in there. Now we'll say, what's the chap of fortified cities? Vitanya, Arim Halalu Ein Osin Osan. We'll say these when it comes to Ari Miklat. So in here Miklat had to satisfy certain criteria. What were the criteria? Well, it's actually really quite amazing. Ein Osin Osan Lo Tirin Kitanim. We'll say you can't make small villages into Ari Miklat. Now we'll discuss why. Rashi already tells us because we're concerned there's not enough provision there. But we'll get into this. You also can't make large cities into Ari Miklat. Rashi says, why not? We're nervous when we say that if the city is too large, so remember again, in a smaller city, everybody knows each other, which means that if one day the Goal Adam, the avenger of blood, who is the relative of the person who was killed, shows up in the city, everyone knows he's there, and they can warn the accidental killer and also potentially get the Goal Adam out of the city. If the city is very large, he can blend in with the masses. Rather, we'll say for Ari Miklat, we go ahead and we use middle of the road cities, not too small, not too big. And also, what did the Gemara just say? The Gemara said that Kedesh was one of the fortified larger cities. So how, if Kedesh is one of the larger fortified cities, then how can you say that Kedesh was an Ir Miklat? To which the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yosef, we'll say first of the intermediate, well actually first wide line, Amar Rabbi Yosef, Tarti Kadesh Kedesh Havi. Rabbi Yosef gives an simple answer. There are two places named Kedesh. One of them was a larger city, one of them was a smaller city. Amar Rashi, Kigon Silkum, V'akra de Silkum. Just like Abba said, there was a city called Silkum, and there was a village of Silkum. So Abba said over here, there was a Kadesh, a large Kadesh, and a smaller Kadesh. It is the smaller, non-fortified city Kadesh that is the Ir Miklat. Gufa. Well, so let's go back and learn what we said before. Arim Halal. So also when it comes to Arim Miklat, here is the criteria. Get ready for this. We'll say first wide line of the widest lines. Arim Halal. Ein Osin Osin Lo Tirin Kitanim. You cannot go ahead and use small villages. Nor can you use large cities. Rather, I will say you use middle-sized cities. So again, the reason for that I will say is, as we said before, you can't use small cities because, as we're going to see, on your Miklat has to be a self-sufficient city. It has to be able to have enough provisions to provide for the residents. Can't be too, and therefore again, and for reasons we'll discuss, can't be too large because then we're afraid the Goal Adam could just mingle in. So rather, again, middle of the road cities. We'll say furthermore again, we only make an Ir Miklat by a place where there is a natural water source. But if there's no natural water source, we create channels from a larger water source to channel water into the Ir Miklat. So we'll say furthermore, we don't situate in the Ir Miklat. We'll say the Ir Miklat also has to have its own marketplaces. We'll say furthermore again, there have to be population centers. If the population center is diminished, ultimately again we go ahead and we resettle people there. If the residents of the city itself diminished, then we resettle other people in the city. So just to understand, the logic over here is we want the Ir Miklat to be a self-sufficient city. So remember again, we don't want it to be too large because we don't want the Goal Adam to be able to come and blend in. We don't want it to be too small because if it's too small, it doesn't have the necessary provisions. We want it to have its own infrastructure. Why? Because this way, the accidental killer does not have to leave the city for anything. It has all the stores, it has all the infrastructure, it has food, it has water. Therefore, anything and everything you need, you have in the city. Therefore, again, the person who killed B'Shogeg need not leave at all. So the Gemara goes weiter. They mochrin bahen lo klei zayin. We'll say we don't sell weaponry in an ir miklat, velo klei mitzuda, nor do we sell traps in an ir miklat. So if you look at Rashi says over here, it's the last Rashi on the right-hand side, klei zayin, shelo yikna kol hadam sham zayin, v'yarok shelo yavi klei zayin mimkomo yargishma. We'll say, listen to this. Again, this is all about being worried that the Gal Adam is going to sneak into the city, and if he can get weaponry in the Ir Miklat, then ultimately, again, he could come and he could kill the accidental killer. If Lamais, again, they don't sell weaponry in the Ir Miklat, and he has to bring in his own weaponry, that'll be a little bit more noticeable. And once it's more noticeable, again, we could stop him before he carries out an act of bloodshed. So again, no traps. Rashi says, Af Bahen Horgan Chayos, because also these can also be used as weapons. The Chacham say no, it's permitted that you could sell ultimately again weapons, and you could sell Klei Mitzuda also in the Ir Miklat. Rishavin, and both say they both agree. Shein Parson B'Socha Mitzudos. They both say in the Ir Miklat itself, you cannot go ahead and lay traps. Meaning hunters aren't permitted to lay traps. So we'll say now, why is that? So the idea behind that is that wherever you're allowed to lay traps, that attracts a lot of people. We want to minimize the people traffic in an Ir Miklat. They're the residents. This way, everybody knows each other, and they can recognize when strangers come. We do not say allow people to do like a rope business, tying ropes, because apparently, again, this also attracts a lot of people, and therefore, again, we don't want to attract unnecessary pedestrian traffic to the Ir Miklat. In order that the Goal Adam should not come to this city. So we'll say, what's the pasuk? Mikra. In other words, Mikra. What the Gemara is asking over here is, how do we know that the Ir Miklat is supposed to be self-sufficient? From where do we know that? So the pasuk says, "V'gam el achos min ha'arim ha'el v'chai." Both side the pasuk says that the accidental killer will flee to one of these cities, v'chai, and he will live. Avid lei midi tetehevi lechiyusa. Do for him, do for the accidental killer something that will provide him with life. So the idea over here is not just sustain his life, not just keep him alive, but ultimately make sure you give him whatever he needs in the city in order to stay alive. Tana, so we'll say, listen, these Gemaras are amazing. Talmid Shagala, we'll say, if a student kills accidentally and is therefore exiled, listen to this. Megalin Rabo Imo. We exile his Rebbe along with him. Why? Shene'emar v'chai. We'll say, listen to this. Because in the Ir Miklat, you have to have everything there for you to live. We'll say, so the same way you have to have food and you have to have water, you have to have your Rebbe who gives you Torah. Right? Make sure to give him everything he needs, ultimately, again, to be sustained and to live, which, of course, also includes his Torah. So Talmud commits an accidental act of bloodshed. Rebbe goes with him to Galus. I'm Rabbi Zira. So Rabbi Zira says we learn a very important lesson from here. Mikan shelo yishana adam letalmud she'eino hagam. I will say from here we learn is be careful who you let into the shir, right? Because the nice again, if you end up becoming a Rebbe to unscrupulous individuals and they end up committing an act of bloodshed, so the Rebbe ultimately again is impacted by this as well. So a very dramatic Gemara. So the Gemara goes right to Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Harav Shegala. Similarly again, I will say if the Rebbe, in this case, is probably much more like a Rosh Yeshiva. If the Rosh Yeshiva goes to Galus, then Megalin Yeshiva so Imo. His yeshiva goes with him as well. So the Gemara says, is that true? So the Gemara says, the assumption is if somebody is a Rebbe, somebody's a Rosh Yeshiva, somebody's learning Torah, Torah protects a person. Torah protects you. So the Ma'ase again, so how could it be that the Rebbe, the Rosh Yeshiva is being exiled? Shouldn't his Torah have protected him? So the Gemara says, I'm sorry, how do you know if the words of Torah protect? Ultimately, again, just like Betzer in the Midbar was in Ir Miklat, so too was Torah. The Torah also acts as an Ir Miklat. Lo kasha, we'll say it's not a contradiction. I will say Torah protects you when you're learning it. But when you're not learning it, ultimately, again, Torah does not protect you in the same way. Most of the other possibilities, what does it mean when we say that Torah protects you? Torah protects you in Malach HaMavis. Well, say Torah doesn't necessarily protect you from everything, but it does protect you from the Malach HaMavis. What happened to Malach? Kiyad Rav Chisda. Let's listen to this Maisa. Because just like the episode of Rav Chisda, what happened to Rav Chisda? Havi Yosef Vigaris Bebei Rav. Well, say Rav Chisda was sitting and learning Torah in the base medrash of Rav. And what happens? The Malach HaMavis was unable to get next to him because, again, Rav Chisda was learning Torah the entire time. The Malach HaMavis cannot take him. He wouldn't stop learning. So what did the Malach HaMavis do? So the Malach HaMavis sat outside of the base medrash on a cedar tree. And what happened? Paka Arza, the cedar tree split. B'shasik, and in that moment again when there was a noise, so Rav Chisda was startled. He stopped learning for just a moment. He was quiet, and in that moment also the Malach HaMavis was able to go ahead and claim his life. So it could very well be that when it says that Torah's koletas, that lav dafka, the Torah protects you from everything, but rather again Torah protects you from the Malach HaMavis. We'll say, why is it that Reuven, when it comes to the Arei Miklat, so the Arei Miklat in the tribal portion of Reuven are mentioned first? Why is it that Reuven ultimately again is mentioned first in the realm of Arei Miklat? We'll say, listen to this. Because it was say Reuven was the one who first tried to save Yosef. Since Reuven tried to save Yosef from the brothers, therefore, again, when it comes to the Arei Miklat, there was saying whose job is to save the accidental killer, the cities in Reuven's portion are mentioned first. That then Moshe Rabbeinu went ahead and separated 3 cities in the Transjordanian lands. Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, what the Gemara is asking over here is, why does the pasuk use lashon of Mizrach HaShemesh? Could you just said Mizrach? Why Mizrach HaShemesh? Kadosh Baruch Hu leMoshe Hazrech Shemesh l'rotzchim. Moshe literally again caused the sun to rise for the rotzchim. In other words, take care of them, just like the sun provides light, provides illumination, lights the way. So to Moshe Rabbeinu provide the infrastructure to save the accidental killers. Hikadamri. Others say, Amarlei, Hizrach Shemesh l'rotzchim. Others say that Kadosh Baruch Hu is giving Moshe Shkoyach. Shkoyach, you have already illuminated the way for the accidental killers. So you've already taken precautions to take care of those who would commit this accidental act. It says an incredible Gemara. Rabbi Simai says, "My dechsev oiv kesef lo yisba kesef, umi oiv bamon lo tivla." So we'll say. So the first part of the pasuk reads well. The second part is a little more difficult to understand. Literally, oiv kesef lo yisba kesef. He who loves money will never be satisfied with the money he has. Which we'll say we've seen this concept before. That if I love money, if I love it, then I'll never have enough. So again, if I like it, I can have enough. But if I love it, I'll never have enough. So we'll just translate the second phrase, Umi ohev bahamon, and he who loves the multitudes or the masses, lo tivua. Now we'll say we're going to see that we're not going to really learn this as lo as no, but rather again we're going to learn it as lamed vav. The ones that should lo his to him is the tivua. To him is the grain. Now, what does this mean? So the Gemara says, "Oiv kesef lo yispa kesef." We'll say, what does it mean? He who loves. Now, the Gemara is darshaning it as not as money, but as silver. He who loves silver will never be satisfied by the silver. Zeh Moshe Rabbeinu. This refers to Moshe Rabbeinu. Shahayodeh she'in shalosh arim shebe'ir hayadin koltos. Actually, nifcharu shalosh beretz Canaan. Moshe Rabbeinu knew that the 3 cities that he was designating in the Transjordanian area would in fact not take effect until Yoshua would go ahead and designate the 3 cities in Eretz Yisrael. Yet what? He still did it. V'amar, mitzvah sheba liyadi akaymena. We'll say ultimately again, Moshe Rabbeinu said, if I have an opportunity to do something, it's not going to be complete now, I'm going to take advantage of it. We'll say, that's Moshe Rabbeinu. Oiv kesef. We'll say if somebody loves silver, in this case he's referring to the silver of mitzvos. Person loves the precious value of Torah mitzvos, lo yispa kesef. He never gets enough. He always wants more. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu did not have to designate these cities. They don't even take effect until later on, but he loved Torah. He loved mitzvos so much that he grabbed every single opportunity. So how do we dash in that phrase? We'll say, who is fit to teach Torah in the masses? Only he who owns all of the grain. We'll say in this context, the grain is a reference to Torah knowledge. Don't teach Torah to the masses unless, of course, you have the Tvua, unless, of course, a person has the knowledge to do so. What's the meaning of the pasuk? Miyamalo givuras Hashem yashmiya kol tilaso. Leminoa lelamed or lemalo givuras Hashem. To whom is it fit, or for whom is it fit to articulate all of the praises or the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So he says, Mishiyachol Hashmiya Kol Tilaso. Someone who is able ultimately again to enumerate or articulate all of the praise. And I was will say that if a person is going to teach Torah to the masses, a person has to be qualified to do so. So the Gemara is teaching us, so again I will say, but focusing more on the first part of this drasha, Oev Kesef Lo Yispa Kesef. We've all heard that terminology before, but often we've heard it as a little bit of a musar about how we relate to materialism. If I love materialism, if I love it, if it's the thrust of my existence, I will never be satisfied. The Gemara over is dashing it in a dramatically different way, that it's a good thing. Oiv Kesef, Kesef a reference to Torah and mitzvos. He who loves precious things, Torah and mitzvos, the goal is if you love it, you'll never get enough of it. And if you can never get enough of it, we'll say that's the ultimate motivation and catalyst to keep doing more. So beautiful. First, the Gemara says, Mi ohev ba'amon lo tevua. So what does this mean? Kala ohev ba'amon lo tevua. Anyone who loves to teach the masses, ultimately, again, will be given the knowledge. We'll say, so this is a little bit of a different drasha. In the first version of the drasha, it was mi ohev ba'amon lo tevua. He who wants to go ahead and teach the masses has to have knowledge. In the second drasha, we'll say is he who wants to influence the masses will be given the necessary gifts by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So let's hear the power of this drasha. If a person says, Ribono Shel Olam, I want to serve your people. I want to serve Klal Yisrael. I want to do something beautiful for my nation. I want to somehow lift up Klal Yisrael. Mi ohev lo ba'amon, he who loves the masses and wants to help, lo tevua. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give him the tools necessary to do so. Incredible. I will say ultimately when they were having this discussion, so the rabbis were sitting together in a group and they all cast their eyes towards to Rava, the son of Rabba. Rav Ashi Amar, whoever loves to teach the masses, or I should say differently, whoever loves to learn together with a group, lo tevua, he will be given all of the knowledge. There should be a sword on the necks of those who hate Talmidei Chachamim. What does it mean, those who hate Talmidei Chachamim? Sheyoshin v'oskin b'Torah bad bebad. We'll say the worst thing a person could do is to learn alone. We'll say, what's the challenge with learning alone? See, if you learn with a chavrusa, simply say something that's not true, you say something silly, you have someone else there to help you go ahead and get back on track. But if a person learns alone, then what? If they're mistaken, they just simply reinforce that mistake over and over and over, and there's no one to stop them. Below Ella Shematapshim. Well, sometimes if a person only learns alone, they could become foolish. Ksiv Hacha, it says over here, Beno Alu, or Ksiv Hasam Asher No Alnu. Below Ella Shechotin. It will say sometimes as a result of this erroneous knowledge, ultimately, again, they made dramatic mistakes. Shneimar, Vasher Chatanu. Viboy Semihacha. What's the other possibilities from here? No Alu Sharit, so on. Ravina Amar Kala Oiv Lalami Bamon Lo Tuvua. What's this? Ravina says, whoever he who loves to go ahead and teach Torah to the masses will be given the Tuvua. We'll say in this case, the grain refers either to knowledge or spiritual gifts. V'hainu Damar, let's listen to this. V'hainu Dam Rabbi Yehuda, excuse me, V'hainu Dam Rabbi, Harvei Torah Limaratim Rabosai. Rabbi says something so beautiful. I learned so much Torah from my teachers. I learned even more from my chavrusas, even more from my friends. But I learned most ultimately again from my students. We'll say a very profound statement. I learned a lot from my rebbeim, even more from my chavrusas, from my friends, but I learned the most ultimately again from my students. This idea, we'll say, that when you learn Torah in a group, or when you teach Torah to a group, ultimately, again, it is the Rebbe who is ultimately enriched from the experience. I'm Rabbi Shmuel Levi. What does it mean when the pasuk says, our feet were standing in your gates, Yerushalayim? Ultimately, again, what is it that allowed us to be successful in war, in the wars of life? Sha'arei Yerushalayim. It ultimately, again, was the gates of Yerushalayim. Shahayu oskin batorah. We'll say this is the idea of kimitzion teitzei Torah. The idea ultimately that it is the Torah that is learned in Yerushalayim, which allows Klal Yisrael to be successful on many different levels. Rabbi Shmuel Levi, my Siv was actually very beautiful. Shira Malos LeDavid, Samachti ba'omrim li beis Hashem nelech. Well, so let's do this beautiful, beautiful Gemara. What does it mean? Again, a Shira Malos, a song of ascents to David. Samachti, I rejoiced when they said to me, ba'omrim li beis Hashem nelech, let's go to the house of God. Let's listen to this Gemara. Amar David HaMelech said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shalom, Shemati b'nei Adam, she'omrim masa yamos zakin zeh. Let's listen to this. David HaMelech says, Ribono Shalom, I overheard a conversation. I overheard people talking. And what were they saying? When is this old man going to die? Let's say now, the old man is a reference to David HaMelech. So I overheard people saying, when is this old man going to die? V'yavo Shlomo beno, v'yivne beis hadechira. Let's say everyone knew that David was not going to build the Beis HaMikdash. So he heard murmurings that the people were saying, when is the old man going to die? So that Shlomo could take over and he could build the Beis HaMikdash. V'na'an l'regel. So we could go and we could be ol l'regel. V'samachti. And David HaMelech says, I rejoiced. I rejoiced, right? Samachti ba'omrim li. When they said about me, Beis Hashem nelech. I rejoiced when I heard the Jews complaining. When is the old man going to die? So we can go ahead and build the Beis HaMikdash and be ol l'regel. Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkos. And what David HaMelech will say ultimately is, Bono Shalom, if you want to take me now, I'm good. I'm good. If you want, meaning let's move this along, so to speak. I'm ready. I did what I needed to do. Bring Shlomo on the scene. Let's build the Beis HaMikdash. So what happens? We'll also listen to this. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is a very, very, very dramatic exchange. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to him, Ki tov yom b'chatzerecha me'elef. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to David HaMelech, one day of you in my courtyard or in your courtyard is better for me than 1,000. What does that mean? Tov li yom echad shata osik b'torah lefanai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to David HaMelech, one day of your life in this world, of you engaging in Torah, is better for me, is more important to me. Me'elef olos sha'asit shalom bincha lahakar lefanai agavi hamizbeach. One day of your life, David HaMelech, one day of your meaningful existence is worth more to me than the thousands of karbanos that will be brought in the Beis HaMikdash that your son Shlomo is going to build. Well, if you remember again, we had a very similar exchange like this in Masechah Shabbos. Just the Masechah is a little bit different. David HaMelech asked, when am I going to die? HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, Shabbos. David HaMelech says, I don't want to die on Shabbos. Let me die on a Sunday. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you can't die on Sunday. Why? By the time Sunday comes along, it's already the time for the reign, for the monarchy of your son Shlomo, and one monarchy cannot overlap with another monarchy, even just a hair's breadth. So what does David say? Fine, take me. Erev Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, same thing. One day of your life in this world, is more important. Is more important to me than the hundreds of thousands of karbanos that they're going to bring in the Beis HaMikdash. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do. We yearn for the Beis HaMikdash each and every day. Each and every day. Our heart breaks to the Beis HaMikdash each and every day. We'll say, do you know what's even more impactful than the Beis HaMikdash? When a Jew maximizes his time. When a Jew maximizes his time, when a Jew utilizes his moments, when a Jew learns Torah, when a Jew does mitzvot, when a Jew does acts of chesed. We'll say, if I put my head down on the pillow at night, and I know that I maximized my day, I didn't waste my time, I didn't get caught up in the things that all of us get caught up in every single day, that I'm just bittlesman on every single level. But I maximize my time, I maximize my Torah, I maximize my mitzvos. We'll say that's even greater than Binyan Beis HaMikdash. Because one day of your Torah in this world is greater to me than all of the thousands of karbanos. And incredibly so, we'll say, I'll tell you, we don't have time for it. Rav Lichtenstein has a beautiful, beautiful essay on this piece, on this Gemara, where he speaks about American society, and he calls it, the 401k society. It's actually a very profound piece where he discusses this idea that sometimes our lives become all about retirement, right? Everything is about how much I'm going to have when I'm 65, right? And people do all kinds of things, right? But it's all about, it's all, I know Yaakov is here. I know it's a good thing to financial plan. I want to be clear, right? But again, I will say. But his point was that at the end of the day, of course, a person should plan. But he says sometimes we become so future focused that we forget to maximize the present, that we forget about the power of the day. It's not just about what you're going to retire on. It's not just about what's going to happen when you're older. What about all of the days in between now and 65? What about all of these between now and retire? An incredibly important. And again, he bases it all on this Gemara. Baruch who says, "Ki tov yom echad." Tov li yom echad shata osik b'torah lefanai me'elef olo sh'aseh shel bincha. It was an incredible yisod about the power of the day. Weiter. Tanya, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer. We'll say Amen Beis. Miklat ha'yachasa pashas drach. We'll say back a little bit to your miklat. So they used to write miklat. They used to write the word miklat, refuge. There were signs. There were signs literally at every intersection as to which direction to the closest miklat. Ha'yachasa pashas drachim kedei sheyakir harotzeach b'yifna l'sham. Right, we'll say, by the way, you see this in Eretz Yisrael now today also. Everywhere you go, there are always signs for the miklat. Of course, miklat means something a little bit different now in contemporaries, but I'll say it's certainly reminiscent. Again, in biblical Israel, every crossroads you went to always had a sign pointing you in the direction of the nearest Ir miklat. What's the pasuk? Prepare for yourself the way. Prepare the road so that if somebody is running towards the road. The idea over here is we never want someone losing time looking for an Ir miklat. We want to make sure that if they need it, they could immediately find it. Well, it's actually quite amazing. The Gemara is going to darshan over here that each of these rabbanim, it's actually very interesting. Each of these rabbanim, whenever they would be giving a shir bosai, they'd always open up the shir with a little bit of agarata. They always open up a shir with some agarata. It makes sense because people love agarata. So if you start a halacha shir with halacha, then clinical tests have shown that what's going to happen, right? 98% of the population is going to be in a deep state of prophecy that might look like sleep, but it's really, right? It's really nevuah. It's really nevuah in like 4 minutes. But if you start with agarata and you draw people in, then they have a greater possibility of paying attention. So we'll say when Rav Chama would begin the shir on your miklat, he would begin the following. Literally, the pasuk says, God is good and upright. Therefore, he shows the sinners the way. He shows the sinners the way. And Rav used to say, who shows even the sinner the way. We'll say this idea is that, remember, as we've clearly seen, the person who killed B'Shogeg is not totally innocent. There is a certain level of culpability. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows the sinner the way by putting sign of miklat in every direction, kal v'chomer letzadikim. Rabbi Shimon Lakish pasach lepischal hay parshas mecha. When Reish Lakish was giving a shir on here miklat, he would open up with the following homiletic teaching: V'asher lo tzada ve'elokimin al yado. Right, literally, when the Torah describes the accidental killer, it says V'asher lo tzada. He did not intentionally mean to kill this person. Ve'elokim ina liyado. God shifted his hand. So we'll say, what does this mean? Kasha yomer mashal kadmoni. So Reish Lakish used to say, this is like the earlier mashal they used to say, Merisham yatze rasha. That from the wicked things happen. We'll say, so Reish Lakish used to say, let me illustrate this to you with the story. B'shnei b'nei Adam shahargu. Shahargu as hanefesh. We'll say, Reuben and Shimon, both of them killed someone. Echad harag b'shogeg, Reuben killed b'shogeg. Ve'echad harag b'mezid, Shimon killed b'mezid. Now we'll say, now they both killed other people. L'zeh ein edim u'l'zeh ein edim. And we'll say, there are no witnesses to either of their acts. So what happens? HaKadosh Baruch Hu mazmin al l'pondok echad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings both Reuben and Shimon to one inn. So the Gemara says, Zeh sharag b'mezid yoshev tachas hasulam. V'zeh sharag b'shogeg yoreg b'sulam. V'nafa alav b'hargo. So we'll say, what happens? Reuben, who killed b'shogeg, is climbing the ladder. Shimon, who killed b'mezid, is sitting underneath the ladder. And as Reuben is walking down the ladder, what happens? He falls off and he kills Shimon. We'll say divine justice. Zeh sharag b'mezid nerag. So Shimon, who killed intentionally, is now dead. And Reuben, who killed unintentionally the first time, is now killed the second time unintentionally. But I will say this time there's what? This time there are Eidim, and therefore he'll go to Galus. Amar Rabba Barafuna, Amar Rafuna, primarily Amar Rafuna, Amar Ravaz. Minatora, Minanavi, excuse me. Minatora, Uminanavi, Minaksubim. V'derech sha'adam rote leilech b'molichin oso. I will say, so listen to this. Rafuna said name of Rabbi Lazar. We have a principle of b'derech sha'adam rote leilech molichin oso. I will say, the Baruch Hu does not tell me what to do in life. I mean, he gives me mitzvos, but he does not force me to do anything I don't want to do. So I'll say, how do we know the principle that God helps me on whatever path I want to take? So once I decide on a path, Chodesh Baruch will help me along that path. I will say that's why making the right decisions in life is so important, and choosing the right path is so important, because Chodesh Baruch is just going to aid. He's just going to help me go down whatever path I choose. So where do I know this principle from? Well, sorry, it's a very profound yesod. Chodesh Baruch Hu says, I need you to make the right decisions, and then once you make the right decisions, I'll help you in that decision. Nebuch, if you make the wrong decisions, I'll help you with that as well. So choose wisely. So where do we know this? From in Torah Dichsiv, Lo Selich Machar. We'll say, so in the Torah we learn from the story of Bilam, because originally Bilam says to God, should I go and curse Klal Yisrael? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, don't go. And we'll say, then what happens? Bilam says, can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, fine. Kum Lechi, go. No, go. And again, this is not a paternalistic type of relationship where God's going to tell me what I have to do. God is going to try to guide me. God is going to try to go ahead and give me the right direction. But if at the end of the day I choose to go in a different direction, it's fine, go. So it's ultimately again from the Nevi'im. The Gemara quotes the pasuk. Quotes the pasuk from Yeshayahu that ultimately I am Hashem. I am HaKadosh Baruch Hu who teaches you, and I will help you to go on the path ultimately again that you choose. To the scoffers, he will scoff, and to the humble, he will give favor. This idea is whichever path you choose, to be humble or to be a scoffer, God will help you. Let's listen to this case. If the accidental killer was on his way to the Ir Miklat, and who does he happen to bump into? None other than the Goal Hadam, and the Goal Hadam kills him right there. The Goal Hadam is pater. We'll say there is no liability for the Goal Hadam killing him. We'll say now the novelty over here is that what? I might have thought that once the accidental killer is on his way to the Ir Miklat, so perhaps again he's already protected by the Ir Miklat. No, you're only protected by the Ir Miklat when you're there. But if you're on your way there and the Goal Adam meets you, he has the right, he has the halachic license to kill you. Kasavar below ein mishpat maves, because he assumes that when the pasuk says he does not have a death sentence, the Goal Adam udichsid. Both say that phrase is talking about the Goal Adam. Is that true? Below ein mishpat maves, he doesn't have a death penalty. But that phrase both sides referring to it's referring to the actual killer, to the actual accidental killer. So Gemara says, so maybe you want to suggest that it's referring to the Goal Adam. Because listen, when the pasuk says that he did not hate him before, he was not a sonay. That's reference to the Rotzeach. The Amar Ki Haitana, the Sanya Velo in Mishpat Mavis, but Goal Adam Akasim Medaber. We'll say he holds like the following Tana that we learned in the Brisa. When the pasuk says Velo in Mishpat Mavis, he's not liable to death. That's referring to the Goal Adam. You're saying it refers to God, but maybe it refers to the Rotzeach. Kishu Omer, Kilo Sonehu Nitmo Shoshom, Hari Rotzeach Amar. Hamani Makai Velo Mishpat Maves, the Goal Adam Kosum Dabra. We'll say ultimately again, the pasuk teaches me that if the Goal Adam does in fact catch up with the accidental killer and he kills him, the Goal Adam also has no culpability for that act of bloodshed. It's not. What's we learned in the Mishnah? Most Relo Shnei Tamidei Chachamim. As the accidental killer is being taken to the Ir Miklat, we give him two Talmidei Chachamim to accompany him there. So the Gemara says, and the assumption is that what? That they can speak on his behalf to the Goal Adam. What do you mean they're going to speak on his behalf? My love, the Masrube, the Katal Bar Katlu. We'll say, is it not to tell the Goal Adam, listen, Goal Adam, if you kill this accidental killer, we're giving you warning that if you kill him, you're going to be killed. So the Gemara says, lo. We'll say no. In fact, what they tell the Goal Adam Rabosai is something else. What they tell the Goal Adam? Omrim lo, al tinok bo minok shofchei damim. We'll say this to the Goal Adam. Don't do this. Don't do this. This is not appropriate behavior. Even though you have the halach Rabosai, klal gadol in life, just because you have the right to do something does not mean that it is right to do it. So even though the Goal Adam has the halachic right to go ahead and kill the accidental killer, the Talmidei Chacham tell him it's not the right thing to do. It's not the right behavior. Bishkaga ba ma'aseh yado. What the accidental killer did, he did b'shogeg. Rabbi Meir says, Rabbi Meir says that the accidental killer could even speak on his own behalf. Shneimar v'zed dvar harotzeach. Amru lo harbe shlichos osa. So they said to him, even though the accidental killer can't speak on his own behalf, the Talmidei Chachamim could do a lot more on his behalf than he could do for us. In other words, we'll say that if the goal over here is to calm down the Goal Hadam, the best bet might be what? For the accidental killer not to say anything. He might be better off keeping quiet and allowing the Talmidei Chacham to do the talking on his behalf. Amar Mar, Gemara says, Amar Mar, Bishkaga B'mais Liyados. So Pshita, the Iba Mezid Bar Galasu. So we'll say it's obvious. Obviously, because if he killed intentionally, would he be going to Galus? In Vaha Rutanya, in Vatanya, Rabbi Yossi Yehuda Omer, Betchila, Echad Shogeg Be'echad Mezid, Makdim Al Miklat, Ubezdin Sholchin Umavian Osa Misham, Mishan Eschai Nisar Galus. So we'll say, yes, even, remember what we learned in the Mishnah. In the Mishnah, we learned that in the beginning, everyone went to the Ir Miklat. If you killed someone, your first place you went was the Ir Miklat. Then what happened? Bezin would then go and send for the perpetrator. And what would happen? They would say, Mishin is Chai Misago. If he did the intention of Chai Misa, they would kill him. Shneimar, V'shach Ozikni Ha'ir V'lachu also Misham, V'naslam Yad Gol Adam, Umeis, Mishlon is Chayiv. We'll say ultimately again, if somebody wasn't Chayiv Misa, Patrua, they would exempt him. Shneimar, V'tzilo Tzayid Asar Tzayim Yad Gol Adam, Mishin is Chayiv Galos, and if somebody was Chayiv Galos, Machzirin Osalim Komo. They would return him back to the Ir Miklat. Shneimar, the Shivu Osa Ida Ir Miklat V'ashana Shava. Rabbi Omer, Me'atzman Hin Golin. Rabbi said, ultimately, again, people, after they committed an act of bloodshed, would usually automatically run to the Ir. This is interesting just from a historical perspective. If somebody accidentally killed someone, usually the first place they ran to was where? Was the Ir Miklat. Why? Kisvurin hein echad shogeg ve'echad mezid koltos. The hein einan yodin shebeshogeg koltos ve'mezid koltos. We'll say sometimes people had a misunderstanding of the Ir Miklat. And they thought that the Ir Miklat was like it's like you get out of jail free card. It's like home base. If you're in the Ir Miklat, you're scot free. You're all right. But see, what they didn't realize is Ir Miklat only works for who? Accidental killers. Doesn't work for intentional killers. The Gemara goes right. So we'll say now come to an interesting halacha. Amar Rebbe Lazar. Brother says the following: Ir sheruba rotzchim einon koltos. So we'll say this is an interesting thing. If you have a city, an Ir Miklat, just the way it works is that the majority of the residents are murderers. It's in general not a good thing to live in a place like this. I think we kind of do live in a place. So we'll say, so the mice, again, if you have a city where the majority of people are murderers, Einon Koltos, then I will say again, halacha lemaisa, again, the city essentially loses its Ir Miklat designation. Shene Emar, v'diber ba'oznei ziknei ha'ir ha'i es devarov. So also listen to this, because again, when it speaks at Ir Miklat, the Torah says, and he shall go ahead, he being the accidental murderer, shall speak into the ears of the elders of the city his words. In other words, I will say the idea is that he's the outlier, he's the minority, he's the accidental killer, and he tells the elders of the city about his circumstances. And I'm both saying not that his situation is the same as their situation. In other words, if everybody's in the same boat, this is no longer an Ir Miklat. Or if the majority of the city is in the same boat, the idea is the murderers in the city have to be, which is interesting. In an Ir Miklat, the murderers have to be the minority of the residents of the city. If they are the majority, then the city loses its designation as an Ir Miklat. V'amar v'lazar, Ir she'im bazakenim, Ir she'im bazakenim, in kol koletes. I'll say similarly again, a city which does not have elders cannot work as an Ir Miklat. Ultimately, again, because the pasuk says you have to speak to the Ziknei Ha'ir, and if there are no elders, ultimately, again, the city is not an Ir Miklat. So we'll stop over here for today. We'll pick up with the Itmar tomorrow again, some more of the technicalities and details of the event. Also, we have some more beautiful Haggadah tomorrow as well.